Hi guys, in this video we'll talk about the parabola versus the line. So we are given the equation of a parabola and the equation of a straight line. We are also given that A and B are intercepts, or the x-intercepts of the parabola, C is the y-intercept, that D is the y-intercept of the straight line, and A is also the x-intercept of the straight line. Now the sketch is also given to us, and we are given various coordinates on the diagram. So our first question is to determine the coordinates of points A, B, C, and D. Now points A and B are the x-intercepts of the f function, and points C and D are the y-intercepts of the straight line and the parabola respectively. So to find A and B, we can set the equation of fx equals to 0 because these are the x-intercepts, and for the x-intercepts y is equal to 0. So to find coordinates A and B, I have the equation of fx, the parabola, and I set the y value equal to 0. Next up, I can see that I can either factorize or simplify, but I would rather divide everywhere by -4 because all of these coefficients are multiples of 4. So 0 divided by -4 is 0. Then -4 divided by -4 is just 1. -8 divided by -4 is plus 2x. And plus 60 divided by -4 is -15. That gives me a simpler quadratic equation which I can factorize. And by now you should be comfortable factorizing. So it will be an x value. The factors of 15 that I would use is 5 and 3. And I need to create a positive plus 2, so it's plus 5 minus 3. Then I would solve the values of x. So x minus 3 equals to 0. So x would be equal to 3. Or I could say that x plus 5 equal to 0. Therefore, x would be equal to -5. Now, sometimes people forget to answer the question. The question is determine coordinates. So if we look at our diagram again, we can see that A has a negative value and B has a positive value. Therefore, the coordinate of A is -5 and 0, and the coordinate of B is 3 and 0. So what I recommend you do, as you are finding coordinates on the diagram, fill them in either on your question paper or on the diagram which you have redrawn. Now we have found the coordinates of A and B. Let's move on to the coordinates of C and D. So C and D are both on the y-axis, and on the y-axis the x values are equal to 0. So to find the coordinates of C, you can see it's on the function of f. So I'll replace all of the x values with 0. So y is equals to -4 times 0 squared minus 8 times 0 plus 60, and that is equals to 60. Therefore, C's coordinate is 0 for x and 60 for y. And in the same way, I can find the coordinates of D. So y is equals to 4 times 0 plus 20, which is equals to 20. Therefore, D is x is 0 and y is equals to 20. So these are the coordinates of D. So we say coordinates even though it's one point, but it consists out of two values, an x coordinate and a y coordinate. Notice also we don't say d is equal to, we put the bracket right next to the letter. Our next question is, for which values of x is fx bigger than 0? Now, what they mean by fx bigger than 0, this is the same as saying y is bigger than 0. So if you look at the x-axis, you would see that everything above the x-axis is y bigger than 0, and everything below the x-axis is y smaller than 0. So for which values of x is fx bigger than 0? So it's between the points of A and B. So for all of the x values between -5 and +3, the graph is above the x-axis. Therefore, we can say x must be smaller than 3, but bigger than -5. Next, we can be asked to determine the axis of symmetry of x. Now, I'm going to show you two ways on how to do it. The axis of symmetry is the point or the equation of the line at which you can fold the parabola in half. Now, you can fold this parabola in half on its turning point. Now, two ways to find this vertical line is you can take the x-intercepts and find the middle of that. So it will be -5 plus 3, which is -2, divided by 2. So this value is -1. And you would see if I place this x equals to -1 in here, it is 4 units away from 3 and 4 units away from -5. So this is the axis of symmetry. That's how you do it by inspection. But if you are not given the diagram, you can find the axis of symmetry by using the equation of the function. So we are given fx is equals to -4x squared -8x plus 60. Now this is the same as saying ax squared plus bx plus c. Now to find the axis of symmetry, you say x is equals to minus b over 2a. And you would notice it's the same as the quadratic function without the square root part on the side. So the b value is -8. So it's -8 over 2 times the a value, which is -4. So this will become +8 over -8, and therefore x is equals to -1. So the axis of symmetry is x equal to -1. And that's how you do it from the equation of the line. But if you're given the diagram and you have two intercepts, you can also do it by inspection. Okay, now we are going to find the turning point of f. In our previous question, we have found the axis of symmetry as equals to x equals to -1. So we already know the x value, so x is equals to -1. The only thing we need to find is the y value. So in our equation for f, we'll replace x with -1. So it will be -4 -1 squared -8 times -1 plus 60. So if I multiply this out, this is -4 times 1, which is -4, plus 8 plus 60. And that is equals to 64. So therefore, the turning point, which is P, is -1 for the x value and 64 for the y value. Also notice when they say find the turning point, we give it as a coordinate.